Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back. I am EBINOTTI, and today we're doing the full moon readings. So full moon is currently in Capricorn. It is our second Capricorn full moon in a row. It's the only time it's happening this calendar year. So we're rolling with it. We're feeling it, but we're rolling with it. If you've been following along on this moon cycle so far, then you know that we are behind. We are behind, lagging, and that's playing out in so many different ways amongst the collective, but it's the feeling of being late, being behind, not catching the wave or the energy that everybody's feeling and talking about, etc. So it's the crash. And again, that's playing out in a lot of different ways for the collective on a micro scale and a macro scale. Okay, so new moon Leo is looming. It crossed us about 2 days ago, day before yesterday-ish, depending where you are. I'm in the northern hemisphere in Western Canada over here. So that's how we do it. Okay, so today, the fire element, the final element to read for full moon Capricorn, and then we can finally get into some new moon Leo energy, and we're looking forward to it. So talking fire in terms of an element in the chakra system, that is the solar plexus, that is willpower and creativity, inspiration, enthusiasm. It takes a whole bunch of things to come together to really get the fire element in alignment. So reading it last in this cycle feels relevant. Bringing up the rear, the fire element, and for some of us, the enthusiasm, the inspiration's really been lacking. So we're going to get some clarity on all that today. As always, we start with downloaded messages, then we get into cards. We do oracle cards, we do tarot cards, we do a whole spread. Any information that you want from me is likely going to be found down in the description box below, so make sure you check that out. My entire tarot and oracle card collection is listed down there, as well as any information to get get a hold of me, get in contact with me for bookings, business inquiries, etc. And we have programs and all these wonderful things coming, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for all that goodness. Okay, so downloaded messages. There's nothing really sitting in the forefront right now for fire. It's feeling relatively imbalanced. But like I said, there's all kinds of chaos and ups and downs. The feeling of a big crash can only come from a rise for a fall, right? So there's the feeling of, where are we on the timeline? Are we about to go into another crash? Is something else looming? There's a feeling of wanting to get things done and yet not knowing if now's the best time. So in the last elemental that we did, which I believe was the air element, we talked about discernment, knowing when the right time is, and as feminines, which is what we read for here at EBINOTTI, but all are welcome. We don't leave the divine masculine out of that energy, obviously, with our lovers on the wall here. But with the divine feminine energy, discernment is an intuitive thing. And when we're in alignment and we're calm or quiet, or like we like to say here, zen enough, we can hear, we can sense, we can know that intuition is on point. So that's why we talk so much about alignment. We break that down in a lot of different ways, including the chakra system. So like I said, fire, in terms of an element, that's the solar plexus chakra. We're talking about power. We're talking about energy. Do we have the energy? Do we like the way we're using that power or that energy in the world? And then how it's going on around us, because under this moon cycle, full moon Capricorn is highly ambitious. That means a lot of our desires are right on the forefront. We realize how little, and I'll say it that way, how little power we really have, how little freedom we really have, prior commitments, responsibilities, the era that we're in, the things going on within our countries, our cultures. There's a lot of things to be done that at times can feel or make us feel powerless, like we have no choice in the matter. So really trying to get into a healthy headspace. We've talked a lot about the mentality under this moon cycle as well. So very excited to wrap up this energy so that we can make the most of it and hopefully move on to greener pastures. I just heard, yes, to greener pastures indeed. So get comfy. We've got an incense burning. We've got a candle lit on the altar. I'll show you the divine feminine circle alignment of us all sitting there doing what we do, reading the energy. Okay, so it's pretty much time to pick out cards. We'll leave the downloaded messages kind of just right there and see what else comes up, but it's time. I'm going to look down at the altar that we've got going here and see what's calling for cards. Very soon, I will have a second camera angle for you guys to be able to see the altar as I see it, so you can see how it looks when I'm picking out all the cards. Nothing's really calling, except for, and no surprise here, the Dragon Oracle. We've seen this deck quite a lot in the last few moon cycles. So cheers to you as we get comfortable and sit in this energy for this reading. As we sit in the energy and really start to focus on the element, the area of the body, as I focus for all of us onto the collective, the one thing that's kind of coming up, so not all of us, the one thing that's kind of coming up is this feeling of not knowing, being lost. So being very insecure in using the intuition and having faith in the right time, the right place, so maybe in some way there, lagging really is coming up for you, where you've been sitting in a place for a while and would love to make a move, but aren't really sure what direction to go in. And it's starting to get to that crunchy state where it's like, okay, I really need to make a move now. Like, what do I do? Am I missing something? So a little bit of insecurity coming up, but I think it's natural. It feels like the natural, process that we go through as we make big changes and we grow into new aspects of ourselves. So very much so feeling like an alignment for the majority of the collective. A big activation for some of the collective, okay? Where this is really new. This going on an adventure, trusting the self, kind of moving in this way is very new. So believe me when I say you have all the support in the world from the Divine Feminine Collective of EBINOTTI to live your authentic and true purpose, path, life, existence, however you want to do it. Okay, there's just so much going on in the world, and as feminines, it's so important right now to keep that solid energy of security and faith and trust and love and nourishment and all of that, because the separation, we've talked about this quite a lot, the separation of feminine energy, like in its divine form, and masculine energy. If this is a man's world, and that's the timeline we're in of this patriarchy, a man's world, we've talked about demonic, satanic energy of the little season. Again, the masculine energy of that's the dominance of the era. Then the feminine needs to, as a counterpart energy, an equal divine partner energy needs to support the true divine masculines, the true alpha energy of masculine, to conquer the, what was corrupted and perverted and abused within the masculine system, timeline, energy, however you want to look at it. So giving the masculine room and support and trust and faith that they can fix what they broke, or that they can, do what is needed to get us back on track here. Not because the feminine is not capable of all of the things, but because it's, there's a masculine and a feminine for a reason, and it's allowing that in the places where we do want to define that in that way. And that's a big part of our era right now, is defining, femininity and masculinity and who has a right to be what out here. Fuck. I don't know if you caught it, because I wasn't paying attention to how I was holding the cards before I started the, original shuffle that we do to clear up the energy, but this is the card that was on the bottom when we started. So no surprise, if you've been around for this moon cycle, you might be able to call exactly who this is. Air and fire, baby. This is all masculine energy. So the two elements here, air and fire, both being masculine elements. We're reading the fire element. I mean, we're talking about divine masculine, cleaning up the patriarchy, the corruption out here, you know, this man's world that we're all living in. Men are very capable of coming in after a long season of, you know, just the divine masculine being completely, you know, so many things. I could say sabotage, destroyed, broken, oppressed, you know, all of that rising up once again. So, as a theme to get us started, to get us juiced up and ready for this reading, expands your creative energies, the air and fire dragon. Harness your creativity, excitement, and enthusiasm. Communicate your passion. So the enthusiasm, the excitement, all of that, that's that fire element. That's the solar plexus. Here, bringing in a balance with air, more masculine energy, we learn to communicate those things. So, you know, being in control and regulating the nervous system, the emotional body, that system, so that we can produce on a masculine level. And whether we're masculine or feminine, young or old out here, we can all learn this lesson of being like that James Bond, cool, calm, and collected. But if you see here, there's this volcanic energy of, you know, James Bond is capable when shit pops off. He is the most capable. He's the best of the best. And that's the level of fire energy that we have behind this reserved or zen or, you know, peaceful energy. So very capable, very calm, very self-regulating, whether we're masculine or feminine. We are all learning now that we are, you know, so in communication and so exposed on a global scale as just one species, you know, out here doing the most. We're learning a lot and we're learning it quickly. So it's important to be able to emotionally regulate so that we're not tossing our masculine energy and those elements that are around out here causing all kinds of devastation. There's devastation everywhere you look right now, right? Okay, so on the bottom of the deck, the Earth Dragon. I love that because full moon Capricorn, that's earth energy. We are all subject to the season that is full moon Capricorn. It's a full month. We had 2 of them back to back, so it's 2 full months until you get from one full moon to the next full moon. That's 28 days, baby. Clears your path and the land around you. So the earth energy, this is feeling very masculine, even though earth as an element is feminine. Clearing shit is like, that's where that sword, the air element in tarot is the swords in terms of a suit. So it's feeling very like clearing shit out. Stay grounded, be ready to serve, service. Stuck energy is clearing. God, who doesn't need that right now? You can move forward in life. So if you see the water energy kind of coming off, there's a frequency to that. And if you see some of the symbolism kind of in there, this is a frequency shift. Okay, so the clearing of the land, let's say when it comes to the land being able to grow and produce, it's not capable. Things need to be cleared, readjusted, reset, so then we can move forward with that. So be ready to serve. The message there is be ready. Okay, things are being cleared that have been past obstacles, challenges, and hurdles for you, and those things are being cleared from your path right now so that you can produce. And service isn't supposed to be work. It's not supposed to be something in a cubicle that is depressing to you. I mean, no judgy. If you love the cubicle life, shout out to that. You know, decorating your little cubicle and your little office supplies. I love that shit. But the point is that it's not supposed to be something that makes you sick. It's supposed to be something that makes you well, stronger, better. So, you know, increases your value, your skill set, your impact on the world, and then other people receive from that and get to go on and co-create with that. For example, the cards we're about to read, created by someone. That was somebody's work. And if they hated that work and it was depressing, then these cards wouldn't have been the cards I chose. They wouldn't have felt to me like passion and inspiration. They would have been flat, empty, dead. Okay? So I love that. I see air here and I see green. So let's give these a read. I love it because we just saw earth and we saw air and fire. The synchronicity is too good. The air dragon helps you rise above earthly matters. Interesting because we've got green on the other side here. Communicate honestly. That's what that air element is all about. I highly recommend you go back and check out the air element reading for full moon Capricorn. Communicate honestly brings inspiration and hope. See life from a higher perspective. Absolutely. If you've really been suffering, you've been really stuck in different centers of the body, past traumas, you know, anything like that, then getting up and out of it. So the air element can give us perspective, okay? Whether we go in or macro, just blow it completely out. However, you need to get to that space where you can start to clear up the spaces and see things from a higher perspective. Because hope is, when we're hopeless, I mean, we are in despair, and that's one of the worst places to sit in, to allow ourselves to be oppressed down to. No matter where we're at, no matter how much power or anything has been taken from us, to not just have hope, but to not despair, you know, to not allow it to turn into despair is the most important thing, okay? The green dragon helps you tune into the secrets of nature. This is such a healing energy lately. Receive answers and guidance from nature. Align with your divine essence. How perfect for the EBINOTTI tribe. We talk about alignment all the time. Getting grounded, using nature. I mean, nature is here for us, you know, in that sense. Be respectful, you know, be aware of your impact when you go out into nature. Make sure you're being respectful of nature, and nature will probably not respect you back when it comes to the natural elements out here. But that's why respect and, you know, being aware is so important, because nature has got its whole own perspective going on, okay? And the way you flick a bug up out of your space, nature can flick you up out of its space, just because that's what was going on. So there's a kind of surrender energy going on here, but again, being able to get grounded and get into alignment. Divine essence is like, you know, if you have no power, no fire in your belly in any area of your life right now, then you might need to do this kind of healing first. And it'll help you find whatever perspective with the air dragon, the air element that we saw, whatever perspective that you need to kind of get up and out of probably some leechy parasitic energy or real pain. Okay. A lot of us have, I don't know how else to say it except to just say it. A lot of us have like a demonic presence, like a parasitic energy in and around us. And it's so important to recognize that right now, because there's a huge opportunity to cut that right now. Okay. So this isn't cord cutting ceremonies or anything like that. Again, no shade and no judgy, but we're just not messing with witchcraft in that way right now, because there's so much going on in that space. We don't want to get caught up again in some leechy, attaching parasitic energy just because that space is so saturated. So sticking to what is natural to us and moving in that space only. Okay, only. It's an only thing. Cheers to you. As we discuss the fire element. Okay, it's time to pick out our tarot deck. Fire element. Is it not? Is it not time to pick out the deck? What? Yes. Yes, I think it is. Okay, we're going to do the Zen Tarot, one of the newer decks that we've been using on the channel lately. And let's just see what's going on with our energy, our power, and that's what the fire element is all about. We'll see what's going on in and around us, you know, what we need to know. And all of that. The Lionsgate portal is coming up very, very soon. If you're watching this when it comes out, Lionsgate portal is August 8th. That's the 8th month, 8th day. It's the 8/8 portal. They call it the Lionsgate. The reason that this portal is so, you know, popular and everything like that is because, again, the people who run the world, they're religious at least, occultist probably. Meaning that everything they do is based on these cycles, the astrology, the alignment, and their belief system based on all that stuff. Okay, so the 8/8 portal, again, super popular in terms of manifestation, power. It's the 8 is all about wealth and security and power and all that. So resources, acquirement or accumulation. People have been cultivating, you know, the way you seed a garden in the spring and you grow it and you get everything ready for the big harvest. This is that time, and the 8/8 portal signifies that energy. 2121 on the clock, 3/3 when I said it, and you already know who that group is if you know the 3/3 group. And that's kind of that function right now. So again, you know, it's not that you can't do your practices and your rituals and the things that you're called to do, but just know, you know, the amount of energy going on in those spaces right now, you can get attached or very, very close to something that you did not necessarily intend to. So just being aware of our spaces here. Okay, bottom of the deck to get us started with our tarot cards. The 9 of Cups, the 9 of Water, coming up as laziness. And when you're focused on yourself and your feelings and feeling good, it's like a vacation kind of energy. All you care about is, think of the way you act on or people stereotypically act on vacation. You know, they act a little different than they do the rest of the year. Even if they have a staycation at home, they don't act the same way they do as when they go on like a, you know, 2-week planned trip to another country, vacation mode. It's like you wear different clothes. You spend your time differently. And laziness is a really kind of, you know, self-sabotaging perspective on it, but it's something that we do feel about ourselves often, especially the highly ambitious or traumatized out here, you know. So lots of different reasons that a little bit of self-focus can become too much. Or, you know, it's really, you need to take the time and you're just not looking at it clearly. So again, awareness, perspective, discernment, these things being very important right now. These are just basic, you know, grown up human being skills and understandings, right? So self-development, self-awareness, self-help, all that stuff being very relevant right now. It's a great time to grab a new self-help book or subscribe to a podcast, take a coaching program, or do something physical for yourself. All of these things are going to play into that same type of alignment where when you do take time for yourself, it will be quality self enjoyment or happiness time outside of the hard work that you're doing, that you know that you're doing. So putting in the hard work, enjoying quality time that is not hard work. Getting really clear about what both of those things look like for us. Okay, we've got the green dragon and the air dragon out. It's time to get into our tarot spread now. Fire element for full moon Capricorn. And we can finally wrap this moon cycle as we get into the next. Ooh, okay, what a flip. So the Eight of Swords, the Eight of Air, coming up as guilt here. And the interesting thing about this type of energy, because we've talked about the mental space in full moon Capricorn being really chaotic sometimes, guilt is right below the power center where the negative or dark side of willpower is shame. Right below that center in the sacral chakra, you get pleasure on one side and guilt on the other. So if you're in any way holding guilt and self-resentment, by the time you try to wield your power or have energy to, you know, go to work and take care of yourself, the kids, the family, all that, you're going to be mentally shot, you know? The mental space is usually the really slow one when it comes to processing. It needs to like pick it apart. For some of us, not at all. We're not analytical. It's not about the psychology of it all, but it is about the self-awareness. So there are little truths in there that stand. So here's the key. It's time to, if we want a little bit more energy, we want to hold more power, we have to make sure within the mental space we're not holding on to residual impacts of past guilt. Okay, getting really, really clear in the mental space about we got to make peace with it. We got to lay it to rest. If there's some shit in there, you got to do the 12 steps of recovery or whatever you got to do. It's a great system to look at. If anything, it'll give you awareness, right? Okay. Second card out, the 10 of Cups or the 10 of Water coming in as harmony. So look at that beautiful from the heart space up through, bam, to the third eye. We get this energy of clarity, harmony, emotionally, everything flowing. So guilt on one side, harmony on the other. You know, if you're, no matter how mastered we become and how aged and wise we become, this will always come in sometimes. Okay, and we can philosophize all the reasons, or we can just state the fact. Sometimes we lose control of our mental space, and it's very important to actively. Fire as an element is the action that is needed, the creative solution, the thing that needs to be taken action on. Okay, so when the mental space gets really messed up or chaotic or out of control and it starts impacting the other energy centers of the body, we bring in the heart space and find that harmony. Breathing. We've talked about breathing exercises. There are a million coaches in the world right now that would love to teach you all about their practices of alignment, Zen, power, modalities, practices. You can name it. Name the thing. To get into harmony emotionally, okay? So finding that support group, that lesson, that book, affirmations, rituals, your own practices like hobbies. We've talked quite a bit, because fire's creativity. We've talked quite a bit about things like hobbies, whether they're completely useless or a skill you've always wanted to develop. For example, my coloring book hobby right now feels completely useless to me, whereas practicing my piano, 5 times a week for 2 hours a day feels like something I've always wanted to do, okay? So, to me, one is the gift that keeps on giving. You learn piano, you can play that and bring peace and joy and alignment to people forever. Coloring, it's like a one and done. Okay, central energy, major arcana 11 with breakthrough. So let me think here. Major arcana in the tarot, 8 and 11 are always mixed, like it's either or. They switch those two cards. So the strength card and the justice card could be either or. When it comes to a breakthrough, I'm going to go with that being the strength card. Just taking a wild guess here. Because, to find this type of alignment and strength, you have to, again, see a lot of different aspects of yourself to be fearless in what brings in the trigger, what breaks you, what allows something to slip through your protection and your armor, the things that we lean into. The 8 of Swords is not, again, we're talking about that 8 energy, right? With the 8 here, the 8-8 portal looming. The 8 energy is not something that's done to you. It's something you allow. something you even create. So creating harmony is just as easy, especially when this is represented here as guilt, which is about the sacral chakra, the water element chakra. Okay, so we want to find that harmony within the water element so that we can always produce power, and power in the most balanced way. So finding a huge breakthrough here, massive amounts of shadow work going on in the collective right now. I was just looking at the green dragon. With breakthroughs and things like that, you see the red and the green being all complementary with their colors. Love that. Sometimes it's really important to get grounded, even though we don't realize how badly we need that sort of cocooned and protected nature. But there are things to be revealed. So you might be getting massive epiphanies sitting by the river. You know, you might need to go spend some time out sitting, you know, on your favorite lookout or viewpoint, stargazing, sitting by water like the ocean, the river, the lakes, anything like that, because again, that's likely where any mental breakthroughs are going to be coming for those of us that it really is a mental struggle right now. The entire EBINOTTI collective will stand behind you in finding this kind of clarity, because we've all been there. We know exactly what that looks and feels like, and how hard it is sometimes to get here on our own. So we are supporting you in that type of breakthrough, okay? Onwards we go. Okay, we need 2 more cards out to finish the spread before we clarify. This is the quick pick spread with my 5-card spread and 5 clarifiers, but we really stretch it out here for the collective elemental readings. If you do a personal reading with me, if they're still available, the quick pick spread is 15-20 minutes. Bang, bang. So don't book a quick pick if you really want a longer reading. Just book the longer reading. It happens to people all the time. They're like, oh, I'll just budget. I'll get a 30-minute reading. Hour and a half later, they're asking, can we go for another half hour? Of course we can, babes. Okay, card number 4 coming out as 4. So we've got the 8 on one side. We got some 4-4 energy going on on the other. Postponement. So the 4 of Swords, or the 4 of Air, typically is about recovery, resting, relaxing, needing to take the time. And that is represented here with being able to see the colored frame and then everything feeling so drab, barely getting any of that color to really touch you. You could just feel it. So if you're feeling that way, it's because you're in a period of understanding, of epiphanies, growth. People call it ascension when it's spiritual instead of physical now. There's a lot of different ways that we are ascending as a collective, awakening, evolving, however you want to look at this. So with breakthrough and then rest and recovery, the typical card of rest and recovery coming up next, you already know. With massive breakthroughs, epiphanies, sometimes it puts us out, especially mentally. If the mental space has been going through it, it's a back-to-back full moon Capricorn. It's going to be one of the hardest ones of the year. So just know when you get through it, because we all struggle with different elements, right? So different seasons, different energy under the moon cycles is going to affect some of us in one season. Others of us, it's the other season. If this is your season to just be like really, like just so much pressure, so much weight, so much, you know, like needing to focus on dropping burdens, resting, reflecting, recovering, relaxing, please do so, okay? Because it will pass. And when it does pass, you want to make sure you come out of it not only in harmony, but accessing breakthroughs, new skills, new beautiful secrets and wonders and clarity and perspective on where we should be going, what we should be doing. 5th card out, didn't even want to fall out of my hand. The 7 of Cups, or the 7 of Water, coming up as projections. Okay, so because we started with a super intense kind of mental energy, now we're getting a little bit more clarity on where that's coming from. A lot of times, the things that are trapping us when we're doing it to ourselves within the mental space is projecting what we think others are thinking. about us, about this, about what we're about to do, what we want, who we are, yada, yada. So there's some really surface, simple, basic self-help stuff that's going to do a lot for the collective out here, because it's like, oh yeah, I just needed to remember. I just needed to get into nature, or, you know, I just needed to see that perspective. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. I got a little caught up in the, you know, fear, guilt, shame, whatever the mental trigger was, boom. And then we find that clarity. We snap right out of it. It's all harmony, breakthroughs, growth, and wonderfulness out here. And we're right back in our power. For others of us, this is going to be a deeper lesson. Okay, first, you know, for some of the collective, we're new to it, and that's okay. Big sis and auntie, we're all out here. We're all out here for you, baby girl. You know, for the maidens out there, I'm in mother phase. Even though I don't have children of my own, that's my phase right now. So for the next generation coming up, or no matter where you're at in your stage of life, if you're new to this, how we're all really connected, and you're like, oh my God, telepathy is real. And it's like, baby, it is so much more, and yet exactly what we always knew it would be. It's like, I knew it. How many of the divine feminines out there have been feeling consistently for the last 5 to 7 years like, I knew it? Raise a hand if that is you. That's right. Okay, our first clarifier, clarifying that 8 of Swords guilty energy, we get the 4 of Cups turning in. I love the way that this 4 of Water is represented here, because 4 of Cups typically is like boredom, discontentment. And here it's like, no matter if it's guilt or if it's like, honestly, that kind of like, oh, I'm so bored, oh, nothing's good enough, whether it's rational or irrational, we can all benefit from occasionally, if not ritualistically, turning in, okay? Taking the time to quiet the mind, get into nature, do breathing exercises, you know, whatever the fuck your mojo is, I don't even care anymore, as long as you're doing the actual important work. Okay, with the Strength card being our central energy, shadow work is real and it needs to be done. So no more, I don't care if it's, you just need to get back on your gym game. You're not even spiritual, you don't even know why you're here. Don't care, the message is here and it's real for you. You need to take the time to slow yourself down so that you can produce at the level that we all desire to produce at. I know the EBINOTTI collective, we are this fucking ambitious. Okay, and you don't have to be some like, you know, I want to rule the world out here, but if you do feel that you want to rule in your kingdom or your life or be free or have power, I mean, occasionally you're going to have to turn in, okay? Because there's a lot of things out here that want to take all of that from you. Your freedom, your heart, your spirit, your power, your ideas, you know? That leechy parasitic energy again. Being very relevant, so just keeping it in mind. It's not all sunshine and rainbows out here. We have to protect ourselves, okay? So the more you want, the more you need to spend time inner reflecting, focusing, taking care of, because it is real. The more you have, the more that you will be recognized or seen. Okay. Woo! I saw it and I knew it. Under the 10 of Water or the 10 of Cups, we get, who is it? It's the Lovers, baby. Major Arcana number 6, the Lovers. There they are. So the heart and the mind, I love that these two cards are together in this reading. The heart and the mind coming together to make decisions is what the Lover's energy is all about. It's what the counterpart energy is all about. And that's why twin flames is such a distorted arena right now. So what are twin flames? What's the difference between a soulmate partner or a twin flame partner? And they say it's very simple. Twin flame is a past life connection or a connection that goes through all the cosmos. Whereas a soulmate connection, typically brought to us through the water element, can be, you know, a friendship that lasts forever, the connection that we have with, you know, it's like choosing a friend over choosing the one, you know, like if I always bring up Buffy and Angel, and if you don't even know Buffy, that's okay too. But Buffy and Angel are the Romeo and Juliet, you know, that's a twin flame relationship because it was all of the love and passion and all that, but it was fated and destined to be completely destructive. And with that type of connection that goes through the cosmos, the happy lifetime spent together is not likely the lifetime you're in. So it's about timelines and that sort of spiritual aspect. But originally and simply put, it's about bringing the masculine here with the third eye and air element and the heart space, earth or water, together to make a decision. You know what I mean? It's moving authentically. It's knowing who you are instead of being, you know, half of a whole, which is how they describe the counterpart twin flames. It's being two wholes that come together. So when we independently bring into balance our masculine and feminine energy, we are whole, regardless of how that percentage, you know, breaks. And then we found a counterpart who fit as well as a whole with our whole. And then you create a third whole, regardless of a child. You don't need to procreate to create a third whole energy between two whole counterparts. That's my perspective on the twin flames and the soulmates. Okay, so working really hard to get into alignment here, and it has been a struggle throughout the cosmos. That's why it's so important for the divine feminines right now to trust the divine masculine to clean up this mess. You know, whether they allowed it or it happened to them, we're not about breaking down all the details, but there's some work that needs to be done because this shit is out of control. So that's the type of harmony of masculine, feminine, everybody in their place, okay? It doesn't matter if you're the female who holds masculine energy or vice versa. It's about everybody in their role. Love that for us. Everybody in their role. Ooh, that one shocked me a little bit. Ooh, shit. Central energy. It's a lot of major arcana. We just saw the Lovers, and now centrally clarifying the Strength card coming through as breakthrough. We have the Death card, major arcana 13, as coming through as transformation, like it does. You know, that is the energy of the Death card. So this transformation is going to be very real. It's likely going to happen very, very quickly. And for the intuitive, the psychics, the seers out there, you felt this coming for quite a while because it was a decision. You know, you finally found harmony. You finally found that wholeness, that strength, that understanding of your masculine and your feminine and your karmics and how the lessons have been lessons, etc. Bang, breakthrough. Okay, so again, a certain amount of focus on the self needs to be had here with the turning in energy so that we don't get trapped in the mental space as these massive things are shifting in us and around us for us. The most important thing to remember is that hopeful perspective we got from our air dragon, communicating honestly our fears, the things that hurt us, and our pains. Very important. There's no point in communicating if we're not willing to face it, though. Don't say sorry if you don't mean it type of energy. So don't say sorry and then just continue to do the same thing. We all know that about ourselves too. So getting off the hamster wheel if we've been in a sort of repetitive cycle for a while. Doing better because we can. Discipline coming into that big time. And we've talked about discipline. Full moon Capricorn, I mean, it's not just an ambitious energy. It is a disciplinary energy. Satanic energy is like a punishment, punisher type of energy, right? So interesting perspective there. We need 2 more clarifiers before we wrap. There's one. It's only one though. Oh geez. So to clarify our 4th row with the 4 of Swords, we get the 2 of Swords. So more air energy. Perspective is key here. And there is that guilt that we start. First card we saw, we're up in the mental space, we're feeling guilty. Okay, fair enough. Why the fuck are we feeling so guilty? A decision that we already know we want to make. Look at how beautiful and clear and colorful and feeling we are within that frame. When we look at it, we can almost feel it in our body. What is holding us back from just taking this leap, making this decision? How many times do we have to see mental space being in chaos, or the decisions of the lovers, the literal divine counterparts out here, to know that it's as simple as making a decision? It is about fucking time that we made an honest decision for ourselves. The things you want are relevant, and you need to make decisions based on that. That's what this is saying. It's, if you are going to literally fall into nothingness, maybe it's about time. Maybe it's about time you step through and see if things really are greener on the other side. It's that kind of energy where if the transformation and the breakthrough for you are authentic, you can trust whatever you're being called to do. And whatever guilt and attachment and shame that you feel, like the people we love, our family members, we feel so much guilt and shame making decisions for ourselves because we know how it's going to affect the people around us, and we just cannot move that way all the time. Turning in, or the Four of Swords energy, it says postponement there, but maybe we just need to take the time to turn in and reflect, postpone making the announcement, even though in our heart of hearts we know the decision has been made. And we're just postponing the announcement, breaking the news to certain people, because we really do need to turn in and find a way from the water element, the heart space. We need to find a way from the heart space to communicate the message, the truth, the new. Okay, so there's something that needs to be said. We're feeling pretty some type of way about sharing that truth, or, that information in whatever way, but my God, this is a, what else are you going to do other than make the decision? There might be a little bit more. Fire is a very creative element, so there might be a creative solution. We saw how turning in brings harmony, and, the green dragon tells us to take that time in nature because we'll find the answers there, okay? Breakthrough also giving us, consistently giving us the messages that a solution is on the way. More major arcana. What have we here? Card number 14, which is the Hanged Man card. The Temperance card, coming up as integration. I love this because Temperance is all about, the alchemizing of the energy, the healing, the fix it. Again, that creative solution. Integration is bringing all of it together. So finishing off our reading, clarifying the Seven of Cups, we get, Major Arcana 14, Temperance. Yikes. It is what's necessary, to, again, integrate, to bring in not only what we think other people think about us, and it's not always about having those conversations to get validation or clarity. Some of us do need to do that type of work so we're not so insecure, and we like the sound of our own voice, and we, embarrass ourselves enough that we know what we do and don't like, etc. So you have to be vulnerable, you have to be open, you have to give that space some work. For others of us, it really is just getting more enlightenment than we even thought was possible in that same old arena. So there's this message sort of going back to the basics of everything. If you are way advanced, you've been at this for years, decades, that kind of thing, the emotional work, the spiritual path, all of the work that you've been putting in here, there's an integration that's going to come in absolutely effortlessly. That's the thing about getting grounded in nature. It's effortless. So a little bit of exposure of the self here, feeling a little bit like it might cut a little. It might be a little shocking, a little surprising, nothing too major, but the breakthrough and the transformation is the energy for the novice, the beginner, and the master alike. So, take that how it's going to resonate for you. On the bottom of the deck to finish this off, we've got Major Arcana. Wow, big surprise. More Major Arcana. 21, the end of the Major Arcana, the World card, coming up as completion. Yeah. So the ending of a huge cycle. This breakthrough is going to be something that truly allows you to lay the past or certain things from your past to rest once and for all. This is like laminating that puzzle and putting it up on the wall once and for all. It's done. It's finally done. This is like a, 10,000 piece puzzle, the most intense puzzle known to man. Type of energy. So it's been a long, hard journey to get here, and it's finally wrapping up. The season is done for you. Yay. And with all of that power, you can finally, again, for the ambitious, you can finally move up to that next level and start with that responsibility, with that power in that new arena. Okay, so being able to use the power. There's healing in this for the rest of us. You don't have to be ambitious. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. You could just be going through a massive breakthrough, a massive transformation when it comes to your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, okay? The spiritual path is a wonderful thing that we love to talk about all the time, but the physical vessel and just surviving in this life, that's neutral, okay? So we need to be there first before we can talk about any kind of ambitious dreams and manifesting magics and changing the world and having our impact out here, okay? So keeping in mind, it's a mental game right now. If the power center is really, really lacking, if you're having any kind of gut issues, check in with your mind, see how that's doing. Check in with the sacral chakra, the water element, see how that's doing. How are we feeling about it? How's everything going? Are we healthy? The body will always tell you, okay, there's a map in here, and it will talk to you anytime you want it to. So pay attention, become aware, see that perspective. Whatever it is the mind needs to kind of get a grasp on right now, give it some attention. Shadow work's the name of the game, and we love it, especially full moon Capricorn, getting grounded, making sure in the root chakra, the earth element chakra, that we are very secure, okay? James Bond isn't scared to die today. And that's that energy of knowing exactly who you are, what your purpose is, what you're here to do, and when time's up, so be it. We did the best we could. We got the work done. It's time to go. So very masculine energy with this, very clear, and feeling very humble and very grounded when it's in balance. And then out of balance, we talked about a whole lot of ways to deal with that. Okay, so we're going to leave that one right there. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this reading and got everything you needed out of it. Please give it a thumbs up before you go today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already and you want more content from myself. Check out the description box if you need anything or if you are looking for any kind of information. Any questions, you can email me, you can leave a comment. Be sure to check out EBINOTTI on other social media platforms for more diverse content. I have a beauty channel here on YouTube, which is also linked down in the description box. That's it for today. Finally a wrap on the full moon Capricorn, and we are so looking forward to some exciting Leo energy as we move into the next set of readings, which is going to be New Moon Leo. That's it for today. I love you so much. Mwah! And I will see you on your next reading.